In the grand ballroom of a glittering mansion, where crystal chandeliers cast rainbows across marble floors and the elite of society clinked champagne glasses, a young man stood alone in the corner, his eyes scanning the crowd with a quiet desperation. He was Alexander Harrington, the deaf son of billionaire tycoon Victor Harrington, and as the night wore on, he realized with a sinking heart that once again, no one would bridge the silent gap that separated him from the world. But what if I told you that by the end of this tale, that same young man would find not just a voice in the silence, but a love that shattered walls of wealth and prejudice? Stick around, because this story of unspoken words and unbreakable bonds will touch your heart, and if it does, hit that like button and subscribe for more inspiring tales that remind us of the power of human connection. Alexander Harrington had grown up in a world of opulence that felt more like a gilded cage. Born deaf due to a rare genetic condition, he navigated life through the fluid grace of American Sign Language, ASL, a language his father, Victor, had never bothered to learn beyond the basics. Victor Harrington was a self-made billionaire, the king of tech empires, whose days were filled with boardroom battles and global deals. He loved his son, in his own distant way, providing the best tutors, the finest hearing aids that money could buy, even though Alex had long ago accepted his deafness as part of who he was. But love without effort is like a symphony without sound, and Alex often felt invisible in his own home. Servants nodded politely, classmates at his elite private school whispered behind his back, and at social events, people smiled awkwardly before drifting away, unwilling to fumble through gestures or notes on a phone. "He's brilliant," Victor would boast to his associates, top of his class in computer science. But brilliance doesn't echo in silence, and Alex's world shrank smaller each year, his heart aching for someone, anyone, to truly see him. Across the city, in a cramped apartment on the wrong side of the tracks, lived Mia Rodriguez. At 22, she was the epitome of resilience forged in hardship. Her family had immigrated from Mexico when she was a child, scraping by on her mother's cleaning jobs and her father's sporadic construction work. Mia's life changed forever at age 10 when her little brother, Carlos, was diagnosed with profound hearing loss after a severe illness. Determined not to let him feel isolated, Mia threw herself into learning ASL, attending free community classes and practicing endlessly with online videos. She became fluent, interpreting for Carlos at school, doctor's appointments, and family gatherings. But dreams don't pay bills, and after high school, Mia worked as a barista by day and a freelance interpreter by night, saving every penny for community college. She was kind-hearted, with a laugh that could light up the dimmest room, but life had taught her caution. Trust was a luxury when you've seen too many doors slammed shut because of your last name or your worn-out shoes. Their worlds collided on a rainy autumn afternoon at the Harrington Foundation's annual charity gala, an event Victor hosted to polish his public image. Alex was there out of obligation, dressed in a tailored suit that felt like armor, standing by the refreshment table as guests milled about. He watched lips move in animated conversations, feeling the familiar sting of exclusion. Mia, however, was there by chance, or fate, depending on how you see it. Her mother had been hired to clean up after the event, and when a last-minute interpreter fell ill, Mia stepped in to assist a deaf guest speaker. As she signed fluidly during the presentation, her hands dancing with precision and passion, Alex's eyes locked onto her from across the room. For the first time in years, he felt a spark of hope. When the speech ended, he approached her hesitantly, his own hands forming a simple greeting, "Hello." That was beautiful. Mia turned, surprised but smiling, and signed back without missing a beat, "Thank you. I'm Mia. What's your name?" The conversation flowed effortlessly, about the speaker's message on accessibility, about their shared love for technology. Mia was studying coding online, and about the frustrations of a world that often forgot to listen with more than ears. Alex's face lit up. It was the first real exchange he'd had in months. But as Victor spotted them from afar, his brow furrowed. Who was this girl in a simple dress, chatting so animatedly with his son? He strode over, interrupting with a gruff nod and a quick sign to Alex, "Time to mingle." Mia felt the dismissal like a cold wind, but she signed a quick goodbye, her eyes lingering on Alex's reluctant wave. That chance meeting planted a seed. Days later, Alex couldn't shake the memory of Mia's warm smile and effortless signs. Using his tech savvy, he tracked her down through the Foundation's volunteer list, not in a creepy way, but with a genuine note sent via email. "Would you like to grab coffee? I'd love to talk more." Mia hesitated. She knew who the Harringtons were from tabloid headlines, and the class divide loomed like a chasm. What could a billionaire's son want with a girl who rode the bus and pinched pennies? But curiosity won out, and they met at a quiet cafe. Over lattes and scribbled notes for the barista, they shared stories. Alex opened up about his isolation, how even his father's wealth couldn't buy real connection. "People see the money, not me," he signed, his expression vulnerable. Mia shared her brother's struggles, how learning ASL had become her lifeline to keep her family whole. "Silence isn't empty," she signed back. "It's full of things waiting to be said." As weeks turned to months, their friendship deepened into something more. They explored the city together, Alex showing Mia hidden gems like rooftop gardens in his family's properties, Mia introducing him to street food vendors and lively community centers where deaf culture thrived. But challenges arose, testing their budding bond. Victor disapproved vehemently when he learned of their meetings. "She's from a different world, son," he said aloud, forgetting Alex couldn't hear, then clumsily signing the rest. "This could be a liability, people might think she's after our money." His words stung Alex, who argued back in rapid signs, "You don't know her. She's real, Dad. Unlike everyone else who pretends." Victor's resistance stemmed from his own fears. He'd lost Alex's mother to illness years ago and had built walls around his heart, projecting them onto his son. Mia's side brought its own hurdles. Her family worried about the risks. "Rich people play by different rules, Mija," her mother warned, hands calloused from years of labor. "What if he breaks your heart?" Carlos, now a teenager, was jealous at first, feeling like Mia's attention was divided, but Alex won him over by teaching him coding tricks via signed tutorials. Society's gaze added pressure, whispers at events, judgmental stares when they walked hand in hand. One particularly harsh incident came at a high society dinner where a snobbish guest mocked Mia's accent and humble background, saying loudly, "Charity cases don't belong here." Alex, reading the lips and feeling the tension, stood up and signed fiercely while voicing for emphasis, "She's more valuable than anyone in this room." Mia's eyes filled with tears, but she signed back, "We face this together." The turning point came during a family crisis. Victor suffered a minor heart attack from stress, landing him in the hospital. Alex rushed to his side, but communication barriers frustrated everyone. The doctors spoke too quickly, nurses assumed Alex could lip-read perfectly. Mia arrived uninvited, having heard from Alex's frantic text, and stepped in as an interpreter, bridging the gap with calm expertise. She signed every detail to Alex, advocated for clearer explanations, and even comforted Victor with gentle words. In that vulnerable moment, Victor saw Mia not as a threat, but as a lifeline. "Thank you," he signed awkwardly afterward, his hands stiff from disuse. It was the start of his own journey to learn ASL properly, attending classes with Alex for the first time. As their relationship blossomed, Alex and Mia faced a deeper challenge, defining their future amid stark differences. Alex wanted to use his inheritance to fund accessible tech startups, inspired by Mia's ideas for affordable ASL apps. But Mia feared losing her independence, insisting on finishing her degree and building her own path. They argued, signed heated debates late into the night, but always reconciled with understanding. One stormy evening, under the shelter of a park gazebo, Alex signed his love, "You heard me when no one else did. Marry me?" Mia, tears streaming, signed yes, her heart full. Years later, at their wedding in a modest garden blending elegance and simplicity, guests from both worlds mingled. Victor, now fluent in ASL, gave a heartfelt toast, signing proudly about how Mia had taught them all to listen with their hearts. Carlos served as ring bearer, beaming. The couple founded a non-profit together, providing ASL education to underprivileged communities, turning their pain into purpose. And so, in a world that often speaks too loudly to hear the quiet truths, Alex and Mia's story reminds us that true connection transcends words, wealth, and walls. It's about seeing each other, really seeing, and choosing to bridge the silence. If this tale moved you, as it did me in writing it, smash that like button to spread the inspiration, and subscribe to the channel for more stories that celebrate empathy and love. Who knows? The next one might just change how you see the world.